The following is not meant for children, has been edited by Cute Stuff, and is brought to you by support from Patreon. Hello everyone, MasterAelix here, and I'm taking a moment here, before the video begins, to thank my newest Patreon supporter, Drew Betts. Thank you so much, Drew Betts. Now, on with the show. Hello, and welcome back! I am MasterAelix, and this is MasterAelix's Build Love Time, or better known as MasterAelix's BLT. The videos in this series are where I go over character builds for some of my favorite RPGs. In this video, I plan to show, step by step, how to make a character build that I really enjoy, and explain why I enjoy it, and hopefully you will too. Now, I like to make fun and flavorful character builds, something that leans more into ROLE play as opposed to ROLL play. However, it never hurts to give yourself some numerical advantages from time to time. Now, my way is far from the only way to build characters. This is just one character built in a way I think is fun. Hopefully, I've done a good enough job that you think this is fun to play too. However, feel free to change things to make it a character you do want to play. As I go through this build, I'm going to go into detail into what I've selected and why I've selected the things I do. But what I won't be doing is reading these books to you. First off, that's very boring. And second, doing that removes the need for you to get your own books. I love these games, and I'd love to see you support the publishers. So, go buy their books. Now, let's get these parts set out and get ourselves tuned up to make ourselves a delicious BLT. Hello, my name is John. It's so nice to meet you. What? What time? Oh, it's morphin' time! Today's BLT is for the Transformers or Power Rangers RPG by Renegade Games. Clearly, there's going to be crossover material. The character today is John Paul George, a totally normal teenage human with attitude. This bot's alt mode is a totally normal teenage human male. However, this bot's bot mode is a towering grid and energon power war machine. John Paul George, or JPG for short, has been forged on Earth, and only recently. Having been made around humans and gifted a human form, he found himself connecting more with the humans of Earth instead of the robots of Cybertron. However, he is still an alien, and despite his efforts, nothing can change that. That has led him to get this thing called an attitude. So, let's get this BLT party started, shall we? The books you'll need to get from Renegade Games to make the character as I've made them here are the Transformers Core Rulebook, Power Rangers Core Rulebook, Decepticon Directive, Power Rangers Across the Stars, and the Field Guide to Action and Adventure. So, let's begin at the beginning. Influence. As always, there's a bunch of wonderful influences to pick from, but this one, by far, the best for flavor, and its function is good too. Today we grab Cybertronian with Attitude, from the Field Guide to Action and Adventure, which lets us get an origin benefit from Power Rangers. To show that Cybertronians were born machines that are meant for war, I went with Warrior Born. And this gets us the perk Fighting Spirit, which is an okay origin benefit, but as an influence, it's spot on. Origin. I have big plans for this little bot, and as such I've elected to go with the Drone Origin from Decepticon Directive. The Drone Origin perk, A Hint of Independence, allows you to take a general perk at level 1, but you must also take a drone imperfection. This time I'm going with the imperfection of Slow Conversion. I'll explain why in a moment. The perk I want to take right now is Size Change. This lets us have a size difference between our bot and alt modes, one step apart on the size chart. In this case, I'm making their bot mode be large, because otherwise the bot size would be common sized, and that's too small for my plans. As a drone, we copy over many stats and abilities from another origin. In this case, I chose Pretender from the Field Guide to Action and Adventure. This is a great origin because instead of transforming into a car or a truck or a machine, you transform into a human person. Their perk, Lifelike, helps you in your effort to look human. And with this origin, I selected to take a +1 to the social essence and put a +1 into deception to help John act human too. Now about that slow conversion. John transforms slow so he doesn't tear his skin the wrong way. So, slow and careful. Roll. Now for Power Rangers, there's a lot of good rolls. But to help John out the best way I can, I went with Blue Ranger. Blue Rangers are the technology lovers of Power Rangers, and if you go by what Transformers' core rulebook says, repairing a bot takes technology skill instead of science for real humans. So leave healing to the Black Rangers. John fixes tech. And later, as he becomes more infused with grid energy, he'll very much put that to good use. Blue Rangers get the perk, It's Morphin' Time! Which is the defining trait of what makes a Power Ranger a Power Ranger. This comes with a litany of cool benefits and bonuses, mostly only when you're morphed. You also get the perk Eureka, which is what makes a Blue Ranger, which is a special perk that helps you deal with smarts-based rolls. It is very nice indeed. Blue Ranger also gives us a speed essence increase, which I put into the targeting skill, as JPG is a ranged combat bot, and 2 points into the smarts essence, which I think we best split into a +1 to both science and technology. Faction. Now here's a complicated bit. To keep the proper robot traits, not getting sick from biological disease and the like, you need to keep it to a robot faction. So JPG is a loyal Autobot, meaning he gets the robot traits from for the Allspark. But this is good because there's other bonuses. For those of you who don't like this, check out the alternative section near the end of the video. Gear. The gear step is one that's a little tricky. Pretender makes it so our internal weapon slots have to be hidden, and Power Rangers give us weapons that cease to exist unless we're morphed. So in an effort to keep things a little more simple, I'm going to say that the power weapons that being a Ranger gives us are basically the same idea as our internal weapons, so we're not going to do internal weapons. As for what exactly, well, Blue Ranger gives JPG a Blade Blaster from the Power Rangers core rulebook, which is a lovely little melee/range weapon that is one-handed. The other is our choice of a two-handed power weapon. This time I chose the Turbo Thunder Cannon from Power Rangers Across the Stars. This is a big gun with a big boom, and it fits very well with being a Cybertronian. As for the weapon in our external hardpoint, I went with a common, everyday, standard issue shotgun. This is a solid, reliable weapon and can take quite a lot of modifications and upgrades, so it's a solid choice for when we're pretending to be a normal, everyday, common human. Essence Step. The Essence Step is an important one, as it can determine your character is well-rounded or specialized. A great chance to meet any prerequisites or not. In this case, I wanted to go more well-rounded to help eliminate any rolling with penalties. So, going with a suggested spread of 4-3-3-2, here's what I did. The +4 goes to Social. Social doesn't level up too quickly for blues, and if we want to fool anyone, we're going to need some social skills. Speaking of skills, I put 2 points into Deception to help us stay a robot in disguise, and +1 into Streetwise, so we can, blend in on a local level. And the last point goes into Persuasion, because, trust me. The first +3 goes into Strength, because this is an important essence group for us. As for the skills, I put 1 into Brawn to help us lift things, 1 into Conditioning, because more hit points are good, and the last +1 into Might to better lean into the whole he has strength thing. The next +3 is for speed. This is probably our most important essence stack because our main combat skill is in here. However, we also have other things we want to have. First is a +1 to infiltration to better hide our robot nature. +1 to initiative because rolling that with a snag is asking for just a bad time. And +1 to drive. This will only really be necessary for one level, but better to have it and not need it rather than not have it when you do need it. The last essence increase is a +2 to smarts, because Blue Rangers get a ton of bonuses to smarts, and it raises faster than the others. We don't need to put a whole lot of it into it now. This time I'm giving John a +1 to alertness to keep his wits about him, and a +1 to culture so he can fit in more. Yes, I did watch the latest episode of Popular Show. Why? Hey, you've made it this far into the video. Thank you for that. Seems like you're liking the video, so please show that you do by hitting the thumbs up button down below. Maybe leave a comment to tell me what you're enjoying. Now that we've done the beginning, let's get to the end. This time we're only going to level 7 to get the complete build. Level 2. Level 2 gives us a couple of different perks actually, which is very nice to see. The first is Helping Hand, which is a fantastic description and a great teamwork angle. It's a great early game perk to have. The second is Grid Tech Iteration 1. This lets us pick 2 powers from a short list, and while I'd love to have the 2 communication-based ones, cause, you know, Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny-Bon, the other 2 are much more interesting and less likely to give away the fact that we're robots. The 2 I chose are Blaster Focusers and Aptitude Augmenter for great teamwork assistance. Level 2 also gives us a Speed Essence, and since Blaster Focuser was installed, I may as well lean into that and give ourselves a +1 to targeting. Level 3. Oh baby, Level 3 is every primary ranger's favorite level. This is level where we get our Zord. Go, go, Power Rangers, baby! As a Blue Ranger, John Zord gets the Zord feature of Enhance for his attack. This lets you amp up a weapon on your Zord. I suggested the ranged weapon, and take your pick of what you want to jazz it up with. Now, a note here. Talk to your GM. Every campaign will have automatic Zord features, but if you're given a chance to choose, then the 2 I would suggest for this are Auxiliary Zord and Light Chassis. Both of these are very nice, but talk to your GM before you assume anything. Level 3 also gives us a +1 to Social Essence, and I put that into Deception. Level 4. Good old Level 4. Level 4 gives us a chance to grab our choice of a general perk, and this one I have been wanting to use. Zord Ultra Mode from the Field Guide. This lets you be your Zord, and that's amazing. When playing John, this would be that connection to the grid and technology coming together. Also, if you could have held off on the reveal, this would be the perfect time to reveal to your party that you're a robot. Or don't reveal it, and key your morphin time to your transmission. Totally normal guy, a guitar riff plays, and some strange sounds later, and he's a very large combat robot indeed. Level 4 gives us a +1 to our Strength Essence, which I feel is wise to put into conditioning, as we are now taking Zord levels of damage, and that can hurt. Level 5. Oddly enough, Level 5 gives us no perks, so we just get a Smart Essence increase, which I rolled that into the Technology skill. Level 6. This level is all about getting so much better. First, we get a new grid power. This time I chose Repair Zord, which is a great way to heal yourself in combat. After that, we get our choice of Zord features, and this is where I am a massive fan of upgraded Zord. I went specifically for the Super Zeo upgrades, but there are no bad options on the list here. This level also grants us a lovely speed essence increase, and I put that into targeting. Gotta keep that combat skill up. Level 7. Level 7 we lean more into the big blue ranger thing, and we get the perk Grid Tech Iteration 2. And while there are so many good choices for John at this level, I went with Power Focusers to really help the team with their power attacks, and Enhanced Summoner. Thanks to Zord Ultra Mode, I don't need to summon my Zord, I am it. This helps the others catch up on that speed. Level 7 also gives us a social essence, and I thought it would be fun to put that into Streetwise. And at this point, for what I wanted to do for John Paul George, or JPG, I'm done. This fusion of Transformers and Power Rangers is the best of both worlds, and capitalizes on their absolutely amazing perk, Zord Ultra Mode. The fact that they can pass as a human and still get this tickles me deeply. I really hope that you out there have fun with this build. Alternatives. As stated earlier, to keep the robot nature, you have to keep the Autobot or Decepticon factions. However, if you don't want to do this, there is an alternative, but I don't like it nearly as much. The main change comes in changing your origin to be an android from the field guide, and talking to your GM about getting an alt mode for it. It does not come with one naturally, but that really isn't a big deal, because in the field guide it even states that non-transformer origins can still give an alt mode. Or, failing that, you get the retrofit transformation cog from Transformers 1 sourcebook at level 4. But this pushes everything else back as well. In the end, I went with Pretender because it's a little bit more fun and a lot easier to handle. But feel free to do as you see fit. Well, with all of that being said, here's where I'm going to say thank you all for joining me. Please remember to like, comment, and of course subscribe. It's a little click for you, but a really big deal for me, and I greatly appreciate everyone who does. If you've enjoyed this video, check out the links down below for links to my editor, my merch market, and of course my Patreon campaign where you can get a variety of rewards including early access to all my videos. Thank you all for joining me, and I shall see you all on the next one. This is a special shout out to all my wonderful supporters over on Patreon. Aaron Smith, Dennis Detman, Drew Betts, Harry Thompson, Mark Milius, and Takashi Yamato. Thank you all so much. These videos wouldn't exist without you.